The Maple Leafs no show in Game 4 as the Panthers even up the series. You're listening to the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.
You're Locked On Maple Leafs, your daily podcast on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome into the Locked On Leafs podcast, a daily Maple Leaf-centric podcast hosted by myself, Mike DiStefano, and my co-host, Dave Morassutti. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. What's happening, Dave? How are you feeling after that debacle? Leafs lose 2-0 to the Florida Panthers, and the best of 7 now tied at 2 games apiece.
Yeah, it's not great, frustrating considering how the 2 games went, how close the games were, although game 3 obviously a lot closer than what game 4 was, I felt.
Yeah.
But it's also just so we kind of told people expect something like this to happen.
I like it's so hard because I know if you go and read the comment section from after games 1 and 2, we're too critical and too hard on the Leafs. Like, we're supposed to be happy that the team was winning and not point out the flaws and point out the fact that, hey, at least you're getting good bounces. The process, hasn't quite been there. They're getting the good bounces and good fortune. Bobrovsky's been terrible, but if Bobrovsky can turn it on, then this team might be in a little bit of trouble. And that's exactly what happened in game 4. Bobrovsky puts together a 23-save shutout. Wasn't really tested a whole lot, a little bit. Like, there was, a couple of instances where the Maple Leafs mustered up some good opportunities, but very few and far between. And I thought they got completely outworked and walloped in game 4. Like, that was reminiscent to, was that game 4 against the Ottawa Senators too, where they got blanked, where they lost? Game 5, yeah, where they lost to Ottawa in game 5. It was very reminiscent, where it's like, man, this was not the Maple Leafs that we have come to expect to see. Berube's Leafs, like that was not really a Berube Leaf game. I mean, it just didn't seem like there was much compete. Even, didn't seem like there was a lot of pushback to offense or physically. I know at the end of the game, like, Domi dumps Barkov. We'll get into whether or not we think that'll be supplemental discipline or not, but a play that really kind of drove me nuts and was kind of indicative of kind of how the night went, where it seems like the Maple Leafs were kind of checked out throughout the night. I believe it was OEL gets dumped by Bennett, and then he ends up falling onto Joseph Woll, and Simon Benoit's right there, does nothing about it. Like, just goes and just has a quick conversation with Benoit or with Bennett, but did nothing about, like, dude, that guy injured your first goalie, and now he's dumping players onto your second goaltender, who's having a hell of a game, by the way, and nothing, no physical pushback. Like, that kind of bothered me. And then just, the entire night really didn't seem like the Maple Leafs brought not their A game, not their B game, maybe their C- game in game 4 Sunday night.
Well, that was kind of my big problem, was that you saw it in game 3. Florida was bringing the physical. They're upping the physical play. I didn't see the same sort of response from the Leafs. I'm not just talking about hits, getting to the dirty areas in the offensive zone. The big stat for me was the puck winning percentage, like winning puck battles. Panthers won those in both games 3 and 4. And yeah, I do admit that when OEL got dumped, I'm like, well, first off, okay, no penalty. Refs are just they let a lot of those things go. Yeah. But yeah, where is the if the refs aren't going to do something, we're going to do something response. And there was a big lack of that. And I don't know if it's because for the first 2 periods, that first period, you got 4 penalties and you were afraid to get a call to go against you. But it's your goaltender. He's been your rock the entire game. Act like you you're gonna stand up for the guy. Show him that you know what, you got his back when the other team is clearly trying to do whatever they can to knock him off his game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Like that kind of irked me, along with a lot of other kind of passenger play throughout the night. And I guess there's no one I think more disappointing at this point in the playoffs than Auston Matthews, the captain. Right? I think we can rightfully criticize the fact that he has not been the player that he needs to be for this team. Like, okay, has he played well defensively? Sure, but listen, you're not paid 13.5 million just to be a sound defender. You're not. Simply, you need to also score goals. And Auston Matthews, so far throughout this entire playoffs, only has 2 goals right now. 2 goals so far from Auston Matthews, and he has 3 goals his last 20 playoff games. Like that, this is a guy who needs to start stepping it up, and his underlying numbers are down across the board as well. And tonight, I thought that he was such a passenger; it's not even funny. I don't know at what point here, or have we reached that point where you're starting to really worry about Auston Matthews for the Maple Leafs?
Well, and the one thing I wanted to check after the game was how many minutes did the guy play, because obviously they were trailing and there were a lot of penalties, and this is why I understand having him out on the penalty kill, because he wins a lot of faceoffs, but the man's playing 20 minutes. You're not getting his best for those 20 minutes.
I don't know, man. 20 minutes should be more than enough time for
Oh no,
him to play.
it's not about how many minutes he's playing, because William Nylander did play more than him. It's if
so
you
did
were
Marner,
going to,
so did Knies. Like he was the 5th forward actually. Tavares played 20 minutes too, so he played 6 seconds more than Tavares.
But it's not how many minutes he's playing. If you were going to play him all that time, get him and find a way to get him off the penalty kill so he could be more of that offensive. Like when you're putting him on the penalty kill, he's taking more shot blocks. He's probably taking a few more hits. He's having to lay down a few more hits. Whatever he's dealing with, it ain't going to get better by throwing him out in those situations where he's going to probably get worn down a bit more. But yeah, no, he hasn't been good enough. He had 3 shots. The big one for me was he gets that pass. He gets that pass from the board. I can't remember who passed to him, but from the point, he's right in his wheelhouse. Not only does he not shoot it right away, but where he shoots it
right into the glove.
Bobrovsky was he almost like Bobrovsky knew exactly. And the Leafs again, they're like, first 2 games, let's go glove. Well, don't you think a goalie like Bobrovsky is gonna figure it out? And maybe when you're focused a little bit too much on one thing like the glove, other things are gonna open up. And I feel like that's something the Leafs were just, they made it too easy on Bobrovsky, and Auston Matthews certainly has. I haven't seen he had 3 shots. I couldn't there was that one I mentioned, but the other 2, I don't know. I expect more than 3 shots on goal from Auston Matthews. That's not what we come to expect from him. That's for sure.
Yeah, 100% you do. I mean, he's got to lead the charge. He's got to lead the way. He's the captain now, and that's why we have high expectations of him in games like this. But Auston Matthews tonight, he played only 11 minutes and 28 seconds of 5-on-5 ice time. That's less than Max Pacioretty. He had less 5-on-5 minutes than Max Pacioretty tonight. Auston Matthews did. That's kind of a shocker to me that's all that they were able to get him out for. And maybe it speaks volumes to, the fact that he's just not getting it going, and they felt, okay, Willie, and he gives us a better chance to win minutes. Knies gives us a better chance to win minutes. And the 4th line or the quasi 3rd line, whatever you want to call it, like they're winning minutes sometimes, so they feel more comfortable. But yeah, Auston Matthews out on the ice tonight, just 43% expected goals in his favor, out chance 6-5 at 5-on-5, and his line when he was on the ice only mustered up 2 high danger chances all game long, and that's just not what you expect from Auston Matthews, who should be one of the most dominant players. I know you're going up against Barkov and Gus Forsling and Sam Reinhart. Like, those are some of the best defensive players out there, right? You've got 2 Selke candidates. I get that. But Matthew Knies is finding a way to make impact. William Nylander is finding a way to make an impact. Why the hell can't Auston Matthews do that? He's a big boy. He's the best player on the team. Should be. He's paid to be.
Yeah.
Right? Guy scored 69 goals. I know. I get it. He's hurt. He's injured. He's just a bit off. But everyone is dealing with something at this point in the season. You got to gut through it. That's what the real GOATs do, right? That's what the best players on the planet do. They bear down and fight through whatever injuries that they're battling, and they get it done. Remember was it 3 years ago? Leon Draisaitl on like a broken ankle had that unbelievable series, put up like 14 points with like a broken ankle in a series. Like it was unbelievable what he did there. That's like guy who can gut it out. We need to see that from Auston Matthews. Like what he did tonight, there really wasn't a whole lot to write home about a bit with his performance. There really was not.
I will also say, while he didn't have a good performance, Mitch Marner, please, you cannot go a playoff game and only have, he didn't even have a shot on goal. 0 shots on goal. After what happened in the first 3 games, you throw the puck on net, so good things happen. And guess what? Now Florida's realizing if we get a little pressure on this guy, he's either going to shoot it into feet or it's going to come back the other way for a chance because, you can rush him and he gets flustered.
Yeah.
Like those sort of things can't happen either. Like if Auston Matthews is not having his best night, someone else has got to step up too. And
for sure.
And that's what pissed me off. Like Auston Matthews was brutal. No way to excuse his play. But there are a lot of passengers tonight.
There are 3 players, I think, that I could say had a good game. That's about it. 3 players on the Maple Leafs. So why don't we take a break? We'll come back. We'll get to the good, the bad, the ugly. So we'll talk a little positive about the Leafs in the next segment for a minute. Build up those who played well before we tear it all down with the bad and the oh so ugly. Jake McCabe, I'm staring at you, brother. We'll get to that more next in the Locked On Leafs podcast.
Ever check your bank account and wonder where did all my money go? Between dining out and online shopping, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. And it isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. Monarch Money can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. I do love the ability to look at where I'm spending my money. How much am I spending on, let's say food deliveries? How much am I spending on certain things I do when I go out? And it will actually help me budget smarter and save more. And instead of using multiple apps, I can put everything into Monarch and it can help me track my finances, spending, and even plan long-term goals. And if you manage money with a partner, it's smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year.
Welcome back into the Locked On Leafs podcast. Mike DiStefano, Dave Morassutti with you as we are each and every weekday, Monday through Friday, with brand new episodes about your beloved Toronto Maple Leafs. The Leafs fail more so 2-0 in game 4 against the Florida Panthers. What was once a 2-0 lead is now tied up at 2s. The good thing is they are going back to Toronto, so they'll have home ice advantage again when they go back to TO. And look, we talked about it going into it, where Florida, very good home team. They had a great home record throughout the regular season, and that was going to be a strength for them when this thing shifted and a chance to get back in the series, and they did, right? They came away with a win. They scored, they got the overtime win in a tightly contested game 3. Of course, it had to be Brad freaking Marchand to get the game winner, and the Maple Leafs came out with a chance to, respond with a quality game 4 performance, and did not quite respond. One player who did, though, as we get into the good, the bad, the ugly, I thought Joseph Woll responded great after, not a great game, I guess. He didn't have a terrible game. Like, there was a lot of bad bounces, Friday night in the game 3 loss. but I thought he had an exceptional game tonight. He was phenomenal. Like that could have been a 5-6 nothing game if Joseph Woll was not didn't bring his A stuff, and he certainly did tonight.
He did, and that's what annoyed me. And what annoyed me most is like people are like, "Oh, if we only got this Joseph Woll in game 3." It's like, okay, but guess what? In both games, they were still within a goal of winning. I mean, obviously, Florida was able to pull away late, but for majority of game 4, the Leafs had an opportunity, and I think maybe that's a positive here. Is that as brutal as it is to squander 2-0 series lead, Florida had to certainly earn every single win, because it was not, they didn't blow the Leafs out. They didn't command. It wasn't like they dominated the Leafs. Yes, I know a 2-0 win for the Panthers might look as dominating, but the only reason why it wasn't a dominating win is because Joseph Woll kept them in that game.
Yeah.
And that's what irks me the most, is that you had an opportunity where your goaltender was standing on his head, and all he needed from you for most of the game was 2 goals.
Well, one goal for the most part, right?
Well, one goal to at least tie the game. Also, maybe not take on as many stupid penalties as you did.
Yeah, 6 penalties tonight. Brutal.
Not good. Not going to be in a good position. But yeah, I think the positive here is that as brutal as losing a 2-0 series lead is, these have been tight, close games, and sometimes you got to find a way in those tight, close games.
Yeah, you do. You got to find a way to get it done. I mean, they were able to find the way in the first 2 games. They got the lucky bounces, but the Panthers got the lucky bounces in game 3, and then the Panthers deserved to win the game on Sunday. Like game 4, they thoroughly outplayed Toronto. I mean, the Leafs had 4 shots in the first period. The first 2 periods, Joseph Woll had 2.04 goals saved above expectation. That was through just 2 periods. Like that legitimately should have been a 3-0 game heading into the third period based on, expectational goals. And it wasn't. It was a 1-goal game heading into the third, and multiple opportunities Toronto had to score. They had 4 power plays on the night. They had multiple chances there. William Nylander had a couple breakaways. Matthew Knies had a couple breakaways. Like, there were opportunities for the Maple Leafs to score. You got to tip your cap to Sergei Bobrovsky. He was pretty solid tonight. He was able to, save the few grade A chances that the Maple Leafs did muster up. But Joseph Woll, for sure, the best player on the ice wearing a Maple Leafs uniform tonight through and through. And it's just a shame that they wasted that performance. That could have been a game where, you need your goalie to steal one. Well, he gave a stealing level performance, but just like 2 years ago, they couldn't beat Bobrovsky, and they couldn't find a way to score. And that's what's infuriating, because it's been 9 years of this, where we always talk about, the Leafs, they never have good goaltending. The Leafs got, a poor blue line. Well, their biggest issue has always been scoring, though. They're right. Like they got the blue line, they got the goaltending, but they still can't score a goal. So regardless, if it's a 1-0 game in the third period, they still can't tie it up, right? And that's still a problem when you're paying those 4 players as much as you're paying, referring to the core 4, Matthews, Marner. I did like Nylander's game. I thought he had a pretty solid game too. I felt he was going to score. If there was anyone I was putting money on tonight who felt like he had a little bit of jump, it was William Nylander. That puck that flipped over a stick when he, took a cross crease, bent the knee, shoulder down, cross crease. I thought he was going to score that. And the puck kind of flipped over a stick, and he wasn't really able to get a shot off. Just that kind of night, right? Where the Leafs, when they did get their chances, some bad bounces that went against them. And outside of, though, Nylander, Woll, Knies, I thought had a good game as per usual. No one else stood out to me. Pretty pedestrian night from everyone else.
It was, and that's not going to be good enough. Craig Berube, they talk about him bringing up guys like Bob McMahon and trying to get him going. Yeah,
Dude,
it would be.
He needs to score a goal, man. Like, Bobby McMahon needs to score a goal. Like, I know you shouldn't be expecting McMahon to provide offense, but like, they need something from him. Like a goal in the third period there when it was still 1-0 would have been huge. would have been absolutely astronomical, and couldn't, muster that up. Like, at some point, this guy's got to get something going offensively. He scored 20 goals in the regular season. How's this guy pitching a shutout?
Yeah, it's baffling to me. I do think he's putting in effort, but he's got to work for it. He's got to battle. Like, they brought up that one play where it was him going up against Ekblad in front of the net, and Ekblad just kind of, yeah, move over, please. I need this space, and you need more pushback from him. Again, did he get thrown off because of the penalty that he took in the first period? Well, it was a dumb penalty to take, but like, that shouldn't change your approach. They need you to be a big pain in the rear to go up against, and he hasn't brought that. You got to get it. You got to use your speed. He hasn't used his speed a lot. So I know I won't. And then it's always like, is he hurt? Or is he hurt? It's not always hurt. It's not always an injury. It's also could be something in between the ears.
Yeah.
That once he gets,
when you're in a low give a bleepometer.
Yeah. Right. And so, some of these guys have got to snap out of it.
Yeah.
For better, not for having a better term for it, just snap out of it. Figure it out, because guess what? The Panthers guys, they're starting to figure it out.
They are, and they've got all the momentum now with the series shifting back, to Toronto, now tied again, as opposed to when they left. They were up 2-0, and that quickly was squandered. Bad. What else is bad tonight? We've kind of talked about a few things, but anything else stick out to you specifically?
How does this team struggle so much to clear the zone, get the puck out of the zone? It's like it gets into the zone, and it's like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Oh, here comes the forecheck. I now got to figure out a decision. Like, they're really struggling with that, and they keep bringing up Chris Tanev taking a lot of hits. He gets guilty sometimes of holding on to that puck a little too long, and then he gets. Now, sometimes when he takes those hits, he's able to make a play because he draws in the forechecker. But
I did think this was probably the worst game of the playoffs for Tanev and both of them, Tanev and McCabe, but Tanev for sure. There was a couple times that I thought he made the wrong play, was sloppy. He kind of blew a wheel on that one play and then was out of sorts, gave the puck away twice on the same play. Like, just felt like it was a bit of an off night for him.
And again, they understand now, if you are going to beat this Leafs team, you got to attack their defense. Like, as good as the defense has been, they don't want to skate the puck out of the zone. Like, eventually Simon Benoit decided to do it, but if Simon Benoit is the only guy who won't actually skate the puck out of the zone, you got a problem.
Yeah.
I know it's not Tanev's specialty. I know it's like Jake McCabe has wheels.
What are you saying? You saying they need a Tyson Barrie, Dave? They need a Tyson Barrie?
They also need a guy that can defend. I'm not saying they need a guy.
Oh, a Cale Makar. Oh, okay.
I mean, hey, sign me up.
Yeah,
I know, but it's just one of those things where they've got to find a way to make it easy. Like, if the forecheck is coming in on you, move it. They're waiting. It's almost like I see them constantly waiting for the puck to get to them. And it's not just the defenseman; it's the forwards too. Standing still. There's nothing worse going up against a forecheck than being standing still and putting yourself in a position to get hit.
Yeah.
Move.
And I think there's something to the fact of Florida wearing down Toronto.
Yeah.
I think that's playing a role here too. Tonight's game specifically. Like, I think that's why you saw the Leafs play their worst performance. I mean, it's taken a toll, right? Like, 3 games against Florida, right? It's 4 games and 7 nights basically. It's tough. That's a physical toll, taking on all those hits from the Panthers. I mean, how many more hits was there in the game tonight? 40 more hits from Florida. Like, it's a physical series. It's a physical team. And then how many, little hits are you getting after the whistle or after the horn blows, as we saw in both games to end in Florida here. So yeah, Toronto's taken it's taken a toll on them for sure, but is 2 days now in between game 4 and 5. Hopefully they can rest up and be ready to go for a fifth and final game. Not a final game, but a game 5, another one in Toronto. For the ugly, what the hell is Jake McCabe doing on that Sam Bennett goal? Can you explain to me what the hell was going on there?
Overplaying.
Tanev had the pass. Like Tanev took away the pass perfectly, took him completely out of the play. And all you had to do if you were Jake McCabe was really either get your stick in Bennett's way or lean on him, get a body on him. And I don't know what the hell that guy did, but he slid so far out of frame. He just gave Bennett a very clear lane to the net where he literally had time to make a triple deke, maybe 4 little dekes moves, gets Woll sitting, and he just deposits it up top. Like, I don't know what the hell McCabe was doing there, but that was one of the ugliest defensive plays I've ever seen.
It's again my issue of what the Panthers do. They get in your face and they are physical. The Leafs, in that situation, what they need from Jake McCabe, a buddy of mine in a group chat is like, just check him from behind then. Like, take the penalty.
Side.
Do something other than...
Hey, you did an OEL's playbook, you know?
Yes. Whoopsie daisy. Like, it's also Sam Bennett. You get a chance to maybe take a run at Sam Bennett.
Do it. Especially McCabe, right? Like, he's not shy with the physicality. So it does surprise me that he went with the kind of go down on a knee and try and, you know, take away the pass. He just misplayed it. Like, ultimately, I don't know if he didn't see Tanev took the pass. Like, realistically, he was on his left side. The player was on the left side. So maybe he just assumed, all right, I got the guy on the left. But Tanev had already kind of taken that assignment. So McCabe should have gone to the shooter. So that's just a blown assignment there. But it's not one that you can afford at that point in a game where it's very much still in play. It was a 1-goal game up until that point. And then you give up that goal. And all of a sudden, you know, that really took away all the chances that the Maple Leafs had to tie it up, because all of a sudden you're no longer just one shot, one bounce away. Yeah, you're 2 shots away from.
I was like, all right, good, bad, and the ugly time. Like, that's literally what was going on in my head.
Yeah, exactly. So just gross play, but hopefully he can learn from it, and the whole team can learn from this poorest game and show up in game 5 in front of their home crowd at Scotiabank Arena. Let's come back and let's talk a little bit about what needs to change heading into game 5. What do they need to do better coming off of these 2 losses in Florida? So that's coming up next here in the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Welcome back into the Locked On Leafs podcast. Mike DiStefano, Dave Morassutti with you as we are each and every weekday, Monday through Friday, with brand new podcasts about your beloved Toronto Maple Leafs every single weekday. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts and also up on YouTube. If you are enjoying the podcasts and the playoff run and you listen to us on a daily basis, you become an everydayer here with the Locked On Leafs family. We ask that you do please subscribe. Lots of unsubscribed views and listens, I've noticed. Please subscribe. It definitely helps us grow the channel and do better with the podcast. That'd be greatly appreciated. Speaking of doing better, the Maple Leafs need to do a whole lot better in game 5 after a pitiful game 4 performance. Lots of passengers, lots of no-shows in this one. Dave, what specifically do you want to see from the Maple Leafs in game 5 that you didn't quite see in the 2 games in Florida?
Let's make life a little tougher for Sergei Bobrovsky. They got literally hardly any traffic. The one player that did do it, Matthew Knies.
Always. He's quickly becoming my favorite player. Like, not just on the Leafs, but like in the league. Like, the play he got injured on, and I meant to bring this up in the good. The play he got injured on, where he got absolutely mauled by like 3 different Panthers, including Ekblad. How the hell did he come away with the puck still off that play? I can't quite wrap my head around the fact that he still was able to get away, get the puck and keep possession with the team. Unbelievable. But yeah, he was also a net front presence and needs to continue doing that. And everyone else needs to step up around him as well. You're right.
But as good as he was, there was one opportunity he did have to score, and you beat the guy with a deke in game 1. What do you decide to do this time? You take the quick shot and you miss the net.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I really don't mind it because I think if you're Bobrovsky, you're probably thinking deke, right? You're not thinking shot. So I think a quick shot, and that was a quick release. If that was on net, it may have scored. Like realistically, if he shot that exactly where he wanted it to go, I think that there's a good chance that game got tied up. But I don't mind that decision there because I think he kind of caught Bobrovsky looking a little bit unsuspecting the quick shot off the breakaway. I don't mind that one. I'll be completely honest. Didn't work, obviously, so it's easy to pick on it when it doesn't work. But I think that sometimes being catching someone by surprise can be a good thing. I think that's what Knies tried to do there.
I do think that it's not just him that's guilty of it. There are other guys who are clearly trying to go high on Bobrovsky and missing the net. Like I said, Brandon Carl, every time he shoots the puck, expect that thing to go 10 feet above the net. But again, those are the Panthers find a way to get those shots through, and at least then it creates a little bit of chaos. The Leafs, when they shoot those and they miss the net, they go out of play, it's one and done.
Yep.
Too many one and dones in the zone, and that can't happen.
Yeah, I mean, rebound chances per 60, they're dead last in the NHL. Like they're not getting those second and third opportunities, which is, such a detriment in the playoffs. You score a lot of goals, greasy, garbage playoff goals that way, and Toronto's not really doing it unless they're getting a tip or they're beating them clean with a nicely placed shot. They're not scoring a whole lot of goals this postseason, so that needs to change for sure going into Game 5. Just generate a little more, go to the greasy areas, create some rebounds, and bang away. But they got to step it up. And you talk about missed shots. I was looking up the stat earlier. Auston Matthews leads the playoffs with 23 missed shots. 15 have gone wide. 3 have gone over the net. 2 have hit the post, and he's hit 1 crossbar. But 23 missed shots, which is 5 more than any other player in the postseason. So he's got to hit the net. Let's be honest. He's got to hit the net. That's one thing that he's got to do moving forward as well. That would probably help him in his effort to try and find his goal scoring touch again. Hitting the net definitely is something he's got to do a little more. Let's stay out of the box too. I mean, 4 penalties in the first period totally took away any momentum that they could have tried to build coming off of a loss. They absolutely gave every momentum to the Panthers, and they obviously scored on one of those goals and turned out to be the game winner. So got to stay out of the box. 6 total penalties on the night. Need to be far more disciplined going into the next game. So that's another thing. What else do we need to see from the Maple Leafs in Game 5 that we didn't see in Game 3 and 4?
Well, physical pushback. It kills me that Max Domi decides now at the end of the game to take a run at Barkov, which I know a lot of people were like, "Hey, look, you did it," but it's like, well, now there probably shouldn't be anything that comes out of it because Barkov is okay. He didn't get hurt, but in the NHL, it's tough to know for sure. But
so that's your stance? You think no suspension?
I don't think it should. It shouldn't because I don't feel like it was, it wasn't blatantly bad, right? To me, yeah, he took a run at him, but he didn't do it in a way that Barkov was in a really bad spot and hit his head or anything. I wish that happened earlier in the game. Now, I'm not saying he got hit from behind like that, but throw your weight around a bit more. But why are you waiting until at the end of the game where the game is done and now you have to have these conversations? Your pushback should have been happening while your team is down and looking for some sort of edge to get back into the game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, game 5 is a must win though. I
Yeah.
think game 5 is a must win. Who, in my opinion, whoever wins game 5 will end up winning this series. That's how pivotal it's going to be. And luckily, the Maple Leafs do have that home ice advantage. They flex those muscles in the first and second game of the series. Let's see if they can do it once again in a very pivotal game 5. You and I will be back tomorrow to tee it up. But that'll do it for us. Well, I guess no, Wednesday, because it's we got 2 days off, so we'll be back.
We got a little time to really
Yeah, so
let
we'll
this
we'll yeah,
simmer.
we'll continue to chat tomorrow, obviously, but the game's on Wednesday, so we'll continue to preview Game 5 over the next couple of days. But that'll do it for us here today on the podcast. I'd like to thank you all for listening and supporting the show. You can subscribe to the Locked On Leafs podcast on all platforms and receive daily Leafs content. Follow myself on Twitter at Mickey_Canuck. Follow Dave at D_Morassutti, and follow the show as well at Locked On Leafs. That's on Twitter and on Instagram. We'll be back with another episode for you guys tomorrow. Until then, keep it locked right here on Locked On Leafs.